see. Raise your hand. I can invite you to speak too. And as usual, and Polaris can basically agree to this, I'm having technical issues. So let's see. All right. Yeah.
Hey, Humpty, how's it going?
Yo, what's up? How are you?
Doing great. Excited to catch up a little more.
Yeah. Okay, great. So I can hear y'all, but I can't hear myself, which that's probably how it should work. I don't know why I was expecting to hear myself. It's been a while.
What's up, Humpty?
What's up, Adam? We got two Adams today.
GM, everybody. Is this coming through?
Yo, what's up, nerd? Yeah, doing great. All right. Man, we have a packed house today. I love this. I literally sent the invitation to so many of y'all who I connected with in one way or the other. And I was like, I just want to talk about like ETH Denver vibes, maybe some takeaways, things that we were surprised by. And then, of course, Bitcoin. WTF, man. It's doing a lot of things.
Hey, Humpty. Hey, everyone.
What's up, Ross? Good to see you. Nice.
Good to see you as well.
All right. So I think we have almost everybody here. I think we're missing maybe one or two folks. Let me see. I was expecting Rohan from $3, though we do have Adam from $3. So, we got $3 covered. I'm also expecting Umar from Gitcoin. Let me just send him a message too. I know y'all are busy, so I appreciate the fact that you do make an effort. All right. Cool. All right. Well, GM, we got my sidekick here. We're always kind of teaming up and doing these spaces together. Polaris, how are you doing today, man? You got good audio?
GM, everyone. And yeah, welcome everyone to the stage. Thank you, Humpty, for calling me up, bro. It's always a pleasure speaking to you. We've been grinding it out for the last 3 years. And yeah.
I don't know about grinding, man. Like, let's mellow out, man. It's too deep. Like we're doing good. Good vibes, man. Good vibes only.
We've been having a fantastic time for the last 3 years. Let me rephrase it. And
yeah,
we've talked about philosophize.
Yeah, you and I have talked about a lot of things. Go for it, man.
100%. We've talked about so many concepts. We've seen those concepts actualized in real time. And it's amazing to be a part of all of this. And let's go.
Thanks, man. Yeah, appreciate it. We have an old, and I guess not old, that's probably a bad word, but a colleague that I've worked with through various projects, and that's Gloria. How are you doing, Gloria?
Good morning. GM, good. Still recovering from last week. I don't know how many of you got the flu or virus. I think I didn't, but I'm still feeling really tired. Not sure why.
Altitude, dehydration, too many people. Yeah. A lot of things that I actually try to do right. Oh, lack of sleep too. So I do want to check in with a lot of folks and see like what was their game plan going in to ETH Denver and how well they stuck to it. One of mine was to take a moment to breathe, make sure I got good sleep, stay hydrated. For the most part, I hit on all those things. But, there were on occasions where I was, not as consistent with that. Russ, how are you doing? Yeah, I saw you at several events, both the event that Gloria hosted, but also the proof of data event that Ceramic hosted. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing well now. I definitely got hit by whatever Gloria just mentioned. Ended up with like a chest infection this week, so I don't know what was going on there because I went into it pretty healthy. I kind of kept myself healthy, but yeah, I definitely got hit by something. The event itself was brilliant. It was great to see you both at the kind of the event with Gloria, and also you were hosting a panel as well, which was really interesting. I think I shared some thoughts on that in the thread afterwards.
Yeah, you did. And then you sent me some good photos. So I appreciate that because I'm still waiting on the video. we do have Adam and Rohan up here now from 3Box, who they were hosts there. And so I'm excited to hear kind of what their takeaways were from that event specifically too. But let's keep going in order. We got Adam Miller, aka the Thriller. How you doing, man?
What's up? I'm good. Yeah, now I know why I'm sick. I was kind of trying to figure that out, but I hadn't thought of all of us being sick. But doing good. I'm driving to Las Vegas right now for an ice hockey tournament this weekend, which feels like a nice kind of vacation after the, not vacation, but the trip to Denver. Denver was awesome. You know, at my DAO, doing legal entities for DAOs, we've had 2 record sales months, 14 DAOs and 15 DAOs. And I think that's probably reflective of the bull market. And it's reflective of the fact that the bull market is applying to or affecting DAOs as well. And super busy as a result, but also super excited about what's going on.
We're back, baby.
Yeah, this better not be a tease. If it just goes right back to bear market, I'm gonna be really disappointed. But it sure feels like this is the bull market, right? I mean, I gotta say one more thing. Last night, my 65-year-old friend / neighbor, very wealthy, very successful, came and just finance, investing, and he is one of the most resistant people to understanding crypto that I have ever met. And clearly he's made it this far, right? And I enjoy, I get a little red in the face and my adrenaline starts going sometimes when, I'm trying to debate / explain to him why it's interesting, real, valuable, whatever. But I'm working on him, and I feel like, it's interesting that he wants to know, right? Finally, the last bastion of people who are so resistant. He actually said, I will give you $20,000 if you'll just put it in crypto for me.
Wow.
And I was like, no, that's not how, or you got open a Coinbase account. And he's like, why should I have to do that? I'm like, well, you have an account for your stocks. And he's like, yeah, but that's different. So it's just, this whole thing, really interesting and fun adventure with him.
You've been going easy on him, Adam. My students, some of them, I've got an accountant student who's 75 years old, and it's been an interesting journey for the last 5 years. But my first recommendation was get a hardware wallet before we even talk about anything. And if you haven't got the conviction to get a hardware wallet, then we're not going to talk about it. So I think you've been going easy.
Wow.
But it's a hard one,
Yeah.
man. It's always a hard one.
Jeez, Polaris goes hard with the hardware
If he
wallet.
wasn't my friend, yeah, dude, if I didn't really care about this guy, I would just be, I mean, honestly, I don't care that much anymore. I'm not trying to convince people anymore. I spent the last 12 years of my life pushing Bitcoin and other things on people because I really wanted people to pick it up. I'm over that at this point. I will help if they want to know and they want to learn, obviously. I would love to do that. But just because I like him enough, I'm like, okay, I will try to explain this to you.
That's right. A little tough love never hurt anybody. It's good. You gotta thicken your skin. You gotta actually seek out, education, I was gonna say, but honestly, there's just so much of it. That's one of the things that I'm actually very pleased to see is that during the bear, if you will, there were just so many cool projects and people that surfaced that were really trying to make an impact in the space through education. And there was a lot of, well, I don't want to say a lot. That's probably oversimplifying and maybe even exaggerating a bit. There were funds made available to these folks, though, through different protocols. I know Optimism being one of them, facilitating funding for this type of initiative. So, yeah, definitely, there's stuff out there, people, groups, communities that they can join. So, yeah, definitely, there's a lot of opportunity there for education. We got Nick next on my screen. This is the first time I actually got to meet Nick, but I knew of Nick's product or company before that, Heirloom. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. And it's funny, Humpty, because like I said on Twitter, you were one of the best and most memorable people I met. And then I came back and half my team was like, oh, you met Humpty? We're tight with him. So I feel like I'm just late to the party. I'm doing great. I am not sick. I think that's probably accidental, like dancing between raindrops or something. But I'm good. This was my second ETH Denver. Felt really interesting compared to last year's because what I've been trying to wrap my head around is last year's ETH Denver was really squarely in the middle of the bear market, but there were enough people and enough exhibitors there that it kind of felt like out of sync. Like it felt like there was almost too much action for what was happening in the markets last year. And then this year was the exact opposite. It was like markets were ripping, and it was maybe even a little quieter than I expected it to be. That said, thinking through the amount of lag time that it takes to like sponsor a big booth and plan a big event, it's like we're probably seeing the participants at ETH Denver kind of as they had their marketing priorities maybe 3 to 6 months ago, rather than in real time. But it made me like excited for 2025 because if this bull market keeps up, then next year is going to be just insanely energetic and insanely exciting.
Yeah. I was also a little surprised to see so few people versus other years where it's a little ridiculous in terms of how many people are present. But I would say the signal to noise ratio, if you will, or to say that the type of people that were present, is the ratio really leaned towards long-term thinking. What do they call it? Long-term game, or like long-term game players,
Yes.
or infinite game players type of people, where it wasn't just like, hey, look, we're here because, money go up, or Bitcoin go up.
Yes.
We're here because we've been here through the worst of it. And we just want to celebrate with one another. So
exactly. Wait, are you you did an infinite game drop? Are you a James Cars? Are you James Cars person? Finding it in infinite games?
Yeah, definitely. But as you can tell, I'm horrible at quoting it, so it took me a while to get there. Just like most everything, it might take me a little while, but I get there.
It's a good one.
Yeah, I was actually introduced to that concept through the Gitcoin ecosystem. Kevin Iwaki over there does a lot of writing, and he's talked about infinite games through kind of either his podcasts or his books, or even his blog posts and on Twitter. So yeah, definitely that concept wasn't first learned directly from the source, but again, through Web3. Well, yeah, we got I Speak Nerd next for me, and it's good to see you, man. And you too, similar to some other folks here like Ross. I saw you at a few different events. What was your takeaway from ETH Denver, aside from hopefully not any bugs?
Well, that's a negatory on the not getting sick, for sure. It's not as bad as last year, but definitely came back with something. I was really hanging out in kind of a lot of people spaces and just trying to find the people that I vibed with. And really that was kind of all I was trying to do. So I was hanging out with the Taoists over at like the cabin meetup and like a lot of the Farcaster stuff. And I know I talked to you and I talked a lot about Farcaster at a couple of things, like go and hang out at Bankless DAO. I don't know. I was really just trying to and doing some like BD for Collab Land with a couple different groups. We're definitely coming back in this market for sure. And like I hesitate to say it, but the we are so back in this. The vibe this year at ETH Denver was definitely a lot better than last year. There's a lot more energy, it felt like, and people weren't kind of forcing themselves to be there and put the smiles on and stuff. I mean, it's unfortunate to say, but it's shitcoin season and it's happening, everybody. I'm really happy that I've been kind of focusing on the social spaces myself through the bear, and just building out my personal network and connections there, and just kind of leaning on the layer zero of the people rather than chasing any particular tech trend right now.
I mean, personally, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. I totally agree that it's all about people all the way down, if you will. The people are who innovate, the people are who build, the people are who participate and are active in using these protocols and applications. Why shouldn't it be about people? And you talked about Farcaster, and I think it's done a great job at aggregating or bringing people together, probably better said, who share these values. And it's been a really good place of discovery too, both for people, ideas, content, even novel applications using kind of some of their recent developments like frames. So yeah, 100%. And I'm glad to see that you've kind of spent a lot of time in that space to develop yourself, but develop your network. I'm excited to see what comes from that because I've known you for a minute. We go way back, BDAO season 0 for sure, and or Bankless DAO for those of you not in the know, season 0. And I've seen you both kind of grow as an individual, but also in terms of the impact that you make across the projects that you contribute. So I'm excited, man. Good for you.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk and share with other people.
Yeah, exactly. This is the layer 0 of spaces because I think this is probably the first time I've invited so many people up off the bat. It's usually like me and Polaris, and we'll bring 1 or 2 folks up here. We'll talk about a project. We'll talk about a concept. But I was like, yeah, just bring everybody up. Let's just have a good chat.
Hell yeah. I met Adam actually at my first ETH Denver 2 years ago, actually, at the DAO Denver event of Denver 22.
Which Adam? We got 2 Adams, man.
Oh, yeah.
The Thriller.
The Thriller, yeah.
Dude, remember that year, if I'm not mistaken, that was the only DAO event. I mean, DAOs might have had events, but that was the only DAO-focused content event.
I think so, yeah.
And now this year there were 10 probably or something. I'd love to see that.
Yeah, I like the DAO Denver fam for sure. They've been real. They've been hosting events for a long time. Sad to see that their event this year didn't really pan out. But sometimes it doesn't work out. But yeah, they've been longtime contributors to the space. You were gonna say something, Nerd?
Dude, I've got a quick question. I speak, Nerd. You mentioned about shitcoin season. Have you got any sort of thesis behind what caused this shitcoin season?
Do your own research, man. Not financial advice. What are you doing? What are you doing to me, man? We're not gonna start listing a ton of shitcoins up here.
All right, I'm not gonna show anything in particular, but I can say this. It's the GME, the GameStop Wall Street Bets kind of thing from whatever that was 2 years ago, 3 years ago. And there's this thing around financial nihilism. And I know that I think we've all kind of seen this in the space where it's degen versus regen, where we all say we want to be regens, but then the revealed preference is that we all ape into shit. So we're all scrambling, trying to make it, and we all see the opportunity in low cap coins because that's obviously number go up. And so this whole thing with financial nihilism, I just saw this article 2 days ago, is that for a lot of the younger generation, young millennials and Gen Z, the Zoomers, don't see the financial opportunity in the traditional system because of inflation, because of student loan debt that they have, because houses have shot up with housing prices have exploded with inflation being the way it is, and they just don't see a way to get to financial sustainability with a lot of the traditional systems. And so there's kind of this just fuck it, throw it all on black, kind of Gamba. I mean, that's kind of what it is. This kind of fuck it, we ball Gamba vibe that people have, and that's kind of the degen philosophy. And until you've made it, you're still kind of stuck in the system, and everyone's trying to shitcoin their way to financial freedom.
That's a very interesting take, and I think me and Humpty have had this conversation about a couple of years ago, where we've discussed that, when we talk about onboarding the masses and how cryptographic proofs of computing can help facilitate our understanding of how we can make this world a better place, that has to have some sort of ease of use, some sort of an onboarding, psychological onboarding, which doesn't cause too much jargon, which doesn't cause too much confusion. And then I was just talking to my kids today, and we had a call with my nephews as well, and they're all 10, 12, 8, that kind of age range. And then I was just listening to their conversation, and they was talking about memes, and they was talking about these memes which they find really funny, and I was like, could it be like, that the whole last year's bull run and this year's bull run, when we seen like SHIB and Doge go like parabolic because of the attention they got, could it be that it's because it's so easy to like, digest for, the new onboarding individuals, that's causing this? And then once they get in on board, and then they realize like, the graft which is being put in, like in terms of the supercomputer Ethereum, and then all the smart contracts, and then all the protocols and the layer 2 solutions and the bridges and the blockchains which are involved. I mean, it's quite intense for someone who hasn't been introduced to that. So for them to just get onboarded, I think uh, memes, aka shitcoins, maybe like something that's just my understanding. Like, it could be something else.
No, totally. I totally hear you there. There's much less context that you have to absorb for a meme coin. It's just haha, funny dog. To understand.
My wife did well on Doge. Okay, so she does crypto, and she bought into it through Robinhood, which is pretty funny. She definitely didn't go through the crypto rails. I mean,
congratulations to her.
Her own custodial wallet, non-custodial wallet, I should say, for her, but she doesn't use it. She went through Robinhood, got it, went through the bull run above that, and then I guess she had some left, and she's like, "Oh, it's running up again." I was like, "What the heck? Like, good for you."
Hey,
I told her not to buy it.
Here's the thing too is like all the VCs want to fund infra. There's everybody's out here selling picks and shovels, and nobody's actually digging. Is kind of the thing, and we're not actually funding, or the VCs rather aren't funding consumer crypto applications. They're not funding things people want to do. Like, what do people want to do in crypto? Well, it seems like they just want to post memes and shit posts, because that's what's fun to do with crypto currently. And so the VCs aren't necessarily investing in crypto or into meme coins. Rather, they're investing in the, like what you were talking about, the layer 1s, the layer 2s, the bridges, all the infra projects. And so the meme coins kind of remains as this, like, I don't know, open field where you can still make those insane gains on stuff, because it hasn't all been bought up by the VCs already. And some of the VCs, especially the like more crypto oriented VCs, especially like the just group chats, the Telegram group chats that have a lot of capital to throw around, have caught on to this, and they're buying up the meme coins and just painting the charts, as someone I talked to at ETH Denver said, just making it wiggle and scaring people out so they can shoot the price up just for the lulz and stuff. And like that's some of the people that you're competing with in crypto, is these people who just want to cause panic and alarm and attention by doing stuff to the charts, because they have the capital to do it. And so it's just different things that people enjoy having fun with. But sorry, to come back to my original point, is like meme coins remain this area that haven't necessarily all been bought up and inflated by VC money yet. And so you can make those insane returns on stuff. And again, we're all just trying to shitcoin our way to freedom, man.
So I have thoughts on that, but hang on. Before we get too buried into this, I do want to give Adam and Rohan a chance to introduce themselves, because I do have ideas on this too. And different Adam, not you, Thriller. So yeah, we have Adam and Rohan here with 3box, and we're talking about like on-chain, but like so the Ceramic is building these like off-chain primitives, using the decentralized storage framework, that is Ceramic. And I thought that I learned a lot. So I spoke at the Proof of Data Summit. Thank you again to Adam and Rohan for facilitating that. And I definitely went in there with an open mind, right? Because one of the first things that I did when I started the panel, I said, this or that, should points, right, which I think was a meta topic at ETH Denver this year, be on-chain or off-chain? And 3 of 4, myself included, said on-chain. And I said on-chain purposely because I knew what Ceramic was coming in with. And I was like, prove through this conversation why points should be off-chain. And I think they made a really good argument. I think some of it has to do with like the interoperability of off-chain primitives, the efficiency, cost efficiency, especially when it comes to off-chain points. So Adam, good to have you up here. What was your takeaway? And, especially from the summit?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. It was great meeting you. And now I've got a whole slew of other people that I'll be looking for at events in the future to meet. But yeah, this is my second ETH Denver, and luckily I made it away unscathed. I was only on the ground 2 days for this one, so that probably had a little something to do with it. But yeah, I feel like from the ceramic perspective, the kind of off-chain, on-chain debate is somewhat dogmatic, because the way we see it is we're building verifiable data that uses blockchain technology to make it verifiable, but we're not storing all of that data on chain. And so there's this complexity and nuance to that conversation that a year and a half ago, I would have said everybody approaches from that kind of like really dogmatic angle, and it takes a lot of value from a statement that's on chain or off chain. But this year, as people have spent the last year actually developing, getting some data that they're putting behind their apps, realizing what the cost and infrastructure choices around that data look like, it feels like there's a lot more nuance in understanding what the infrastructure options look like. I would love to see more investment in applications instead of just infrastructure, because it feels like we're now at this place where we can have a lot of experimentation. A lot of mushrooms blooming on top of the infrastructure that's been built. It's ready. So I was eager to find more of that this year. It was similar to last year in that I felt like we were talking to a lot of peers and not necessarily a ton of projects that are coming in with new application ideas. But in conversations outside and around Denver, I feel like I'm definitely starting to see the trend towards more builders building applications, which I'm super excited about.
Yeah, the trending word too, I think leading into ETH Denver, and that I saw, because I spent a lot of time in the build space. I don't know how many of you went over there. Firstly, bravo. I want to give a round of applause to the stewards who actually did a good job this year. I'm going to be a little hard and say they haven't in previous years, to give builders the space and the resources they need. I was a mentor last year, so I can speak about that, with kind of, I guess, proof of work, that it was very difficult for builders to just stay in the venue and do any work. So for us mentors, we didn't really have many people to talk to. This year, though, they had a building all to themselves with plenty of tables, really good internet, amazing snacks, tons of mentors, a lot of support from their sponsors. I thought, to me, that was exciting, because honestly, I go for the builders. I personally am a builder, so I, really love to just re-energize by syncing with them and just asking questions and being of support anywhere I can be too. But yeah, the meta was, how they could build, with these primitives. And so, yeah, it's really great to hear also that, ceramic is kind of building in that space, but really kind of maybe flipping the script a little bit, because of the fact that, I think on-chain native, kind of primitives seems to be the flavor of Web3. Though 100%, I think that there's a lot of room for experimentation and implementation of off-chain primitives. Wonder if, Rohan, aka Sonder here in our space, wanted to add anything to that, just maybe from your personal experience, people you talk to, working on product, over at 3box and with ceramic. I wonder if there was anything specifically you took away too about that.
Man, I wanted to see how far you guys were going to go in the meme conversation. That was
no, we're going back.
Fun one. Okay.
I know, man. What the
We're
hell?
gonna go back.
I'll give my quick thoughts, and we can go back to the memes. And for what it's worth, I did get super sick, so I thought I was the only one. I'm glad other people, well, not glad, but we can share in our misery together. But I've been super sick all week. I thought I had a really nice time at ETH Denver. Luckily, I got sick at the end, so I could appreciate the whole time. But to me, it was very exciting. I met dozens and dozens of folks, lots of different projects. I think the actual, like, if you just stuck to the actual event, maybe it was less exciting. But there was so many cool side events going on. I think, of course, there was the big projects, the Barra Chains, Monads, Espresso, stuff like that, had a lot of really cool things. But it was also really nice and exciting to see these new narratives popping up with like, proof of data, DPIN day, open data day, all this kind of new direction that we haven't seen before. So I think that was very exciting. Well, one thing I'll say about, since you did ask about kind of ceramics specifically, one point that I'm hoping that people will start to become more open to is that off-chain is not synonymous with centralized. On-chain is one version of decentralized, but there are other decentralized technologies that there are many, right? And so the ceramic network is a form of decentralized technology. And to me, it's a question, I think I mentioned this in our talk together, of centralized versus decentralized. So I'm hoping as we move forward and people kind of start exploring these new technologies, they are open to, if you want to, it's the same way I think when people first started hearing about Chainlink, and I come from Chainlink, so this is kind of my bias here, but if you think about building an end-to-end decentralized application, right now we have people kind of pretending like, okay, we've got some decentralized smart contracts, but then they're kind of hiding what's behind the scenes. Everything behind the scenes is just centralized, right? Their backend server or whatever. So the same way you might want a decentralized Oracle, I think you still need a decentralized storage solution that augments the work that you're doing on chain. And I think that's really where Ceramic comes into play there. I don't know. I don't remember what your original question about Ceramic was, but hopefully that somehow suffices. But feel free to clarify. I'll also say I think one of the most exciting parts. I agree with you. The hackathon, the Biddle Hub. I did a project there that won an award. I try to do a project whenever I'm at a hackathon. Like one of the most fun parts is just like nerd sniping other people, right? Just getting into very deep. I think this is the only place. These types of conferences are the only places in the world where you can just go so deep in a conversation that's so niche and nuanced. And like to have it with anybody outside the conversation, you'd have to explain to them like 20 different prerequisites. So I had a lot of fun just with technical teams at the Build Hub, just deep diving on random hypotheticals and topics and potential architecture structures and things like that. But yeah, I will say, I speak nerd. Your meme thesis, I 100% agree with that. I think majors and memes are my kind of storyline for this super cycle. But yeah, maybe you can. I feel like I'm just going all over the place. Feel free to get me back on track or take this wherever you'd like to go, Humpty.
Not right before we get back to memes, I just wanted to double down on something you said, and I think that this is probably the first year too where I saw so many events happening outside the main event, right? So I think in previous years, a lot of the focus attention has been to the main venue. But this year, the Ceramic and Tableland put together, I think, one of the more interesting events for me personally in the week, where you were covering, data, open data, and through different the scope of how that operated. I know Gitcoin and Guild, and even like there were other like major week-long events like Edge City that really, for me, at least for the first time, connected to this narrative that ETHDenver has been building, which is building it's a builder festival, right? So it's a community of builders and it's a festival for them. A festival to me doesn't just happen under one tent, but there's many tents that people can go and experience different things. And for me, this year was probably the first time that I can choose my experience, right? So I went on different side quests, and I think I came out better for it, healthier too, because I wasn't necessarily having to be stuck in the same room with kind of the same people. I was able to travel the city and experience it in different ways. So I appreciate that, both from ETHDenver, but also different builders and companies that came together to kind of host their own events. Anybody have any?
Can I talk about memes for a second?
Yeah, bring it back to the memes, man. That's it. And not serious.
Okay,
talk.
I want to actually.
Y'all just want to do, disclaimer. Do your own research, man. Yeah, these. It's about to get crazy.
Here's the thing. It's not just memes, right? I think I speak nerd. You originally said shitcoins, and I think shit is a little also strong, but like altcoins, shitcoins.
Hey, shitcoin's a term of endearment. All right, that's a term of endearment.
Okay. Then yes, then that's the term I'd rather use than like meme coins, because a lot of these tokens, yeah, everything has a meme value, right? Stocks, tokens, whatever. But and I'll just give 3 examples. I don't mind. Like, yes, I hold these tokens. They're not my projects. 3 projects. Clipper Exchange has the Admiral DAO or the Sale token. Juicebox DAO has the JBX token. MoonDAO has the Mooney.
Twitter says no.
Yeah, Twitter's rubbing you, Adam.
No, that is literally
Bro,
the
it's
best
like
shill ending I've ever heard.
Yeah, I know. That's the self-selecting algorithm saying enough shilling.
Real projects.
Musk isn't letting it happen.
Yeah, he's like Dogecoin only.
oh my god, this is crazy.
Adam, can you hear us?
Shoot, it seems like I have a bad signal. Did I?
Yeah,
Did I lose you guys?
You missed like 80% of what you were trying to say. You started with like listing different projects, and then you came back saying you have a bad signal.
He spent his internet bill on the shitcoins. That's what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe someone else should go. I could try again later, but maybe I'll just try real quick. There are real projects with tokens with very low market caps. Maybe nonprofit, maybe for profit. It doesn't mean there's necessarily like a return on your investment directly to the token. These are real projects that also have meme value, that have tokens that are trading incredibly low. And to me, that's just a good investment opportunity. That's not just a meme.
Anybody want to take that? I have thoughts. I mean, I think Bitcoin started as a meme token, if you will. You know, there were narratives that were driving the value of that early. But yeah, if anybody has any thoughts on that.
You know, I mentioned my kids and the way they were communicating. And then going back to my business school days, and the first lesson I think they showed us was a picture speaks more than 1,000 words, basically. And this is the kind of thing which we're dealing with here. On one side, we've got the AI aspect kicking in its full glory. Um, and then on the other side, we've got this generation which has got an attention span of less than 3 seconds. And I'm being very generous here.
Sorry, what was that?
How
No, keep going. There it is.
So you know what I mean. So this is the kind of thing we're dealing with over here, right? So memetics, which is a term which has been coined in the last 1 year, maybe different terms have been used for it, but memetics and the power of memetics is a thing, is a full thing. And being able to express yourself in communication in a picture which kind of encapsulates the moment. So that's the baseline of memetics. And then if you put on another layer of weaponizing those memetics with blockchain, that's what you're actually doing. You're creating a financial or monetizing that memetic, and then you're leaving it out into the open ground. So um, going forward, there could be many outcomes. And as Elon Musk says that the most possible outcome is the most interesting one. So I think there's too many nuances and too many different interesting variables when it comes to memes.
Yeah.
And the new generation, they just want to have a good phone which works. They don't want to know what's inside the phone. you know they don't want to know the intricate details of how the blockchain works. They want to make money. They want to use that blockchain to make money, because that's the whole concept of that was the whole concept of teaching about financial freedom. I remember listening to uh, Andreas Antonopoulos. I remember his lectures about BTC and the whole concept of finances and quantitative easing and 101 concepts which needed to be learned. And our generation were not really taught about that. And being placed in that kind of context kind of forced us to learn about these things. And it's been very productive for me, for the people I associate with, and it's made me have a better understanding. I think it's healthy if it brings people to question about how they're dealing with money,
Yeah.
because you got to go to a specialist, school or organization or college or university to learn about that. And just being financially quaint like that can open up so many possibilities. So I mean, I see so many positivities attached with it. And of course, the whole goblin mode which comes with memetics, that is also a part of it, bro. We have to but I think going forward the goblin mode might just kind of like ease up, like the way it eased
Isn't that
up
what they did? They
with
just got together and
BTC.
started making loud noises, or are we thinking about something else?
Yeah, that was
Bro,
a
goblin
classic.
mode is when you lose your bearings and you start, going down
Yeah, you just tune into a
the
space and they were just all growling at each other. I mean, it was pretty funny.
Goblin Town. I think that was Goblin Town.
Goblin Town, yeah. No, but hey, look, seriously though, you're talking about memetics, and I 100% want to agree with you there, because so I think it was Nerd who was talking about like degens, and one thing that I subscribe to personally, and I do follow a lot of what Kevin Owaki writes and talks about, and he was, at least to me, one of the first people that talked about like this degen pipeline or work or flow. Like, how can we take some of these like degen behaviors, degen narratives, and spin them to kind of for good, right? So basically for regenerative purposes. And I think a huge degen behavior is like basically hunting for airdrops. Just wanting to get that free money, going back to what I think many of you guys are talking about, like the financialization of Web3. I think that there's a lot of kind of value in how we can spin that to, for good. Personally, one of my favorite projects in the space is Optimism. I think that they've just kind of like 100x like a lot of the ideas from Gitcoin in terms of public goods and retroactive public goods funding, where there are these like incentives that can be built to encourage people to do good, and then it's like get airdrop money, go up, like free money, right? So the money printer goes and runs. But yeah, no, and I was really happy to see kind of conversations around RPGF and the super chain thesis in general. Any thoughts on that? Anybody find any interesting conversations on either during the event, or maybe related to the super chain in some way? I know Arbitrum was there, and Metis was kind of sponsoring the event.
I don't know if it's exactly related to like super chain itself, but I think one of the things I noticed coming from the Cosmos ecosystem is like the idea of this like Cosmos interchain and modularity was definitely like a big theme. I think like modularity probably became one of the like the memetic things of the event, like people just mentioning it any chance they could. But I think that's generally like a pretty positive thing for the industry, because still when you look at the charts on how big our industry is compared to everything else, like we're still tiny. And I think this conference, although it was obviously the start of a bull market, so we were all even more friends than we would have been, I think there feels like a theme around us coming together a bit more as an industry, realizing that we can use each other's stacks and tooling and stuff and work more collaboratively. And I think like the interchain idea, which is what like Cosmos has, like the IBC side of things, so into blockchain communications, and I think that kind of was a good example of that. So yeah, and I think obviously this is ETH Denver, but more and more, as you kind of said, Humpty, we saw lots of different side events emerging. But what was interesting this year on that same thing is it wasn't like there's this identity event, but it's very specifically like Ethereum, and there's Cosmos here and there's Polygon here. It seemed like everything was organized around a theme and an outcome we were trying to drive towards, which again like encourages that greater collaboration across the industry. I'm not sure if that's the same as Superchain, but there's my 2 cents.
No, I mean, I guess Superchain in itself has to do with interoperability, so I think that's fine. But you touched on something that I wonder I can tag Gloria to talk about, because she hosted a cool side event where you and I hung out for a minute, and that really was exploring the space of identity and reputation, which actually kind of just, I guess, continued a bit through the Proof of Data Summit panel that I hosted. Gloria, any thoughts, any takeaways personally from that event? I like roundtables, so I thought that was a really good one for me personally.
Right. Yeah, thanks for tagging me here. And also, yeah, didn't realize that there are so many people from the conference that we actually had events together and hang out together. Yeah, thank you all for coming to that roundtable discussion, and also thank you, Adam and Rohan, for having us also at the Proof of Data event. I think I still need to do a lot of like catch up and deep dive from the conversations we had in that roundtable. I think some of you can definitely also help out with like organizing the topics and go one step deeper and see how that could lead us to further collaboration down the road. My biggest take from ETHDenver is actually how frames took off. And not to brag, but we had a feeling, or we had like an understanding from Istanbul Dev Connect that Lens Open Action was going to be something. And at that moment, we were finally understanding why Lens is building Lens, like why Stanley is building Lens. Lens was never meant for a social platform, just for the sake of having social content. It was always aimed as a financial infrastructure for facilitating exchanges and trading of like social contents. So it's always a financial infrastructure. That's why they are working on a stable coin. That's why they also bought a consumer wallet as an entrance to that experience. And Stanley was talking a lot about Lens Open Actions and how on your social feed with direct interaction with smart contracts can completely change and revolutionize distribution for a lot of applications and projects. And you can bootstrap usage and user acquisition using your own social network and amplify from there, so you don't really need to depend on advertisements in the traditional social media platform. And I thought that was really interesting. And this whole idea about social discovery was super interesting. But Lens Open Action was more sophisticated than Frame, but that didn't take off, but Frame took off. And Frame started with something relatively simple, right? So you cannot really do much with Frames, but they're actually working on the transaction, enabling transaction right now. So probably will be released within a week or something. So yeah, so just that innovation, I think, might be helping us with another bull run, because that's going to have a lot of user adoption impact. And if these user adoption impact can turn into some fortune accumulation game again, yeah, that's definitely a bull run to me. Smells like it. I'll pause here and see if you guys have any further thoughts around that, but that's one of my biggest take from ETHDenver. Obviously, reputation and identity has always constantly been a theme. I think with this adoption on social and with the new innovation, there could be more use case unleashed for identity and reputation that we haven't seen before.
I think Farcaster. To be fair, I'm not too familiar with like Lens Open Actions, but I have seen personally the growth on Farcaster since that was, I guess, launched. Not just in terms of the activity, but also the engagement. Personally, my network there has grown tremendously. And I think that A was, because I was early to the platform, B, because I was really engaging with the platform, but C, also because I was hopefully creating value on the platform. And I think that, again, that in a different way is kind of like an airdrop of reputation, if you will, for, kind of being early, contributing and adding value, similar to what Optimism does with RPGF, but instead of getting money, I got followers, which is actually an interesting measure of reputation, but also an interesting measure of rewards, in a Web3 sense. There were no points, but yeah, definitely benefited from the growth and the impact. I see your hand up, nerd. What's up, man? I know you got lots to talk about Farcaster, so go, man.
Let's go, fam. Yeah, what you just brought up there about like benefiting from the growth of the social network, not necessarily financially, but in terms of follower count, is really interesting. And I know I was maybe we didn't talk about it specifically, but I talked about it a lot with people at ETH Denver about Farcaster. And like, if you guys look at it, people have mentioned the Lens. I forget what the tech's called, but Lens actually has superior tech to Farcaster. Like, the tech is better. It's faster. It's on L2. You can do more with it. It's
Lens open action.
There it is.
It's Lens open action. So the fact that people don't remember the name says something, right?
Yep. But Farcaster's been able to capture the social layer a lot better. And that was really just the difference in their go-to-market strategy with how they rolled it out. But yeah, like you mentioned, Humpty, like, there's all the airdrops, and the airdrop Enjoy Yours are out on Farcaster now. And so the financialization is there now, but there's an established like layer of social, and there's a core group of people who were early to Farcaster and are wanting to keep that core culture alive through the onslaught of the airdrop farmers and the bots and the people who are coming just for the money, and the people who are just hearing about it. And Farcaster runs on social and social status. Because like, I don't know if you all have ever read Status as a Service by Eugene Wei. It's a blog article from 2019 that's fantastic and really recontextualized social platforms and social networks for me. Because that's real, like what you said, you're really rewarding people for being early to this network with status. And like, this literally happened to me yesterday, or not yesterday, 3 days ago. Like, I met July at the ETH Denver Farcaster meetup at that Saturday night party. It was just like, we literally talked for like less than 5 minutes. And I really wish I got to talk to him more. But it's just like, oh, hey, cool, great to meet you. Like, hey, love your vibes. All right, cool, awesome. I'm off to try and find Cameron, whatever. But the point of this is, I have a personal channel on Farcaster, the /nerdery. And I've been laboring over trying to grow that channel for a while now, because I stupidly launched it during Frame Madness. And so nobody saw it. There was no attention on it. And it's been very, very slow growth, but like, we like 4x'd the channel size in a couple hours, because July came and posted in that channel about what being a nerd meant to him. And with that brought a lot of attention from his followers. And so like, the way that Farcaster is set up is you're following individuals. And an individual's follow count is really like a proxy for their proof of work on the network. Like, the amount that you post, where you put your attention, and how you gain your followers is your proof of work on this. And like, I'm semi-technical at best. I'm not a dev. But Farcaster has historically and continues to value technical skills and people who release frames, and people who are creating open source stuff, and people who are, the creators who are creating NFT projects and those kinds of things. And those are getting rewarded with attention, and that with that attention comes followers and that proof of work. And I think it's a really, really smart system where there's no built-in financialization to the network. I mean, there are warps, but really they're not dollar pegged. They're pegged to ETH. You buy in with a certain amount through dollars. It's kind of awkward, and not too many people use it. But now we're starting to see community built incentivization layers financialization layers with like DGen, with Enjoy, with Ham, with points, with whatever meme token. We're seeing these things come online from the community, because what makes like memes are ideas. And I sorry, I forgot who mentioned it, but someone mentioned memetics earlier, and like that it is the comprehensibility of an idea is what gives it meme power. And like, how contextualized is that idea in what has come before it? So like, we see all these derivative memes come off. Like there's like Sol Pepe now, or there's Zepe, Zepe I've seen, which is like Zora Pepe that someone's made, which is a lazy derivative, personally, my personal feeling. But it is contextualized because it's a derivative from Pepe on Zora and uses that Z to kind of communicate these things. And so it's your memetics for your meme token is how well can you contextualize your idea within the cultural zeitgeist of your audience with just the name and maybe an image of your token, right? And like the Zora Enjoy, if y'all have been following that, it's a Zorb, it's a Zorb. It's a blue Zorb with some, 3 dots on it, which is really the change, but it's a Zorb. It's got a new name though. Enjoy. It fits with the enjoy your, because you can just add or, like a bunch of O's and an R to it, which is what I keep doing on fucking everything that I post on Farcaster because it's hilarious. This contextualization of memes is super important because that's like, it's how smart and how witty you are is how well you can contextualize and recontextualize this stuff for people quickly into grabbing people's attention, because that's really what we're in on social media. We're in a PvP attention war constantly for people's attention.
What did you say?
Which part? I've been rambling for a while. Apologies.
No, bro, I was only joking.
Yeah, no.
I've just
There we go.
Basically, it's a lazy derivative of what you did. To kind of lead into one of your memes there. Okay, so we're reaching the top of the hour. I want to recognize that there's a lot of people here that just committed 1 hour, and so I want to give everybody a chance to maybe very briefly, just say kind of like what they're excited for this year, just based off what they learned or found valuable from ETH Denver. So I'll just start here from my screen right now. I got Nick to my right. What are you excited for this year, man? 30 seconds or less.
Yeah, I mean, I'm biased, obviously, but I'm really excited about identity. I think it's like the great non-financial use case of blockchains as a database layer. I know some other people on this call are probably similarly biased to me. And as a kind of OG technology and internet guy, I think it's like one of the most exciting things in the space. It has been the most exciting thing in the space to me for a few years. And seeing the build of momentum from year to year has been on specifically the concept of identity. Has been so exciting. I think the improvement of user experiences of things like Farcaster Network and others. I think smart wallets and account abstraction are really, really interesting. And I think all of these things are going to kind of blend together this year to create a really unique opportunity for a lot of us builders.
Cool. Yeah, and I'm excited to see you in LA. Let's grab a coffee.
Hell yeah.
Rohan, you're next on my list here. What are you excited for this year? Just connect that how you wish.
Man, so much. Obviously, going to give a shield to Ceramic. I don't know how much we're allowed to share, but we are working on some super exciting stuff behind the scenes that I'm very, very excited for in the coming months. Can't say much more beyond that, but I think it's going to be some super exciting stuff. Other than that, I just hope this momentum keeps up. I feel like I was getting paranoid. Like we're already so far. I'm already seeing people, doing those TikTok shills, which usually means it's the end of the cycle. So I hope this momentum keeps up for another year or so. I mean, there's a lot of projects. I want to see if Monad delivers. I want to see how Say is going to go. What's going on with Hyperlane, Barachain? Are there any applications that are actually going to be built now? Is it just going to be infra stuff? What's going on with DPIN? There's so much. I feel like I'm stretched in so many directions. It's tough to pick just one thing. I think, quote unquote, this time it's different, quote unquote, it's happening. We'll see what happens. Very exciting year.
Yeah, I don't want us to get too lost in the conversations of financialization, as most bull runs tend to do. So hopefully people stay focused and building. Nerd, what are you looking forward to the rest of the year?
I've been really, really enjoying Farcaster. I think FarCon is going to be freaking lit in May 2nd to May 5th. There's an application for community, the community pass. If y'all aren't on Farcaster, you definitely should be checking that out. Collabland is doing some awesome stuff with Telefriends and looking at making it the easiest way to onboard to trading in crypto. Really excited about that coming out. I also am a bit of an identity nerd, so really excited to see better ways to express our identities online and just continuing to see how we can leverage blockchain to do interesting things in new ways that people already love doing. Like all the stuff around novel ways of financialization is really just creating new fancy Ponzi's in a lot of my opinions in DeFi. But I'm really excited for blockchain to get used to do things better, faster, more clearly for things that people already love doing. I'm super excited for that.
Awesome. Thanks, nerd. Adam?
Which one?
The only one left. I think we only have one Adam on the stage, do we? Or do we still have Thriller?
Well, I can finish quickly here. I am just really excited to meet more people because in my short time in the space, I feel like I've built so many relationships that I've met somebody one time for work and then I've spoken to them 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 plus times later. And I feel like there are just so many really intelligent, capable, hungry people in this space that I'm excited to just meet more of y'all.
Yeah. Wonderful. I'm excited to see you hopefully again at some other event space. Looks like I covered everybody. Polaris, any last words? You normally leave us with some beautiful words.
Thank you very much. I'm really looking forward towards seeing Web3 as a singular community, like so this is how I would want to see this year for us to all become one singularity, like a big massive beehive, like the way it is. And all the technologies and all, I'm gonna be like pushing towards community building more, and I'm also gonna be doing a world tour as well. So I've got a lot on my plate at the moment. But yeah, it's been lovely talking to everyone. Hope you guys have a fantastic week, and look after your health, look after your mind, drink lots of water. And Humpty, I pass the mic on to you, sir.
Yeah, man. I'm just apparently getting sick now. No, just kidding. I just dealing with some allergies. All right. Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Do what Polaris said. Keep yourself healthy, hydrated. We'll see you here next week. I think next week we're going to be focusing more on the identity reputation side. So if that's interesting at all to you, check in with me. DMs are always open on X, on Telegram, and Farcaster. Until then, have a wonderful rest of your week and weekend.